SEAker. The Young SEAker is the first and only Southeast Asia-based nonprofit organization with the ASEAN and China angle. We aspire to bring together vibrant, competent ASEAN youth who are passionate about advancing ASEAN-China region. We help SEAkers to grow within their communities through a series of holistic programs, concrete ASEAN-China exchange opportunity. Up to this day, since 1 year of our establishment, we have 9 national chapters across Southeast Asia, including Cambodia, and 1 chapter in China, so a total of 10. The program that we are hosting right now is the SEAkers in Dialogue. It is a platform where we engage distinguished ASEAN-China experts and leaders from business, politics, government, and academia to share their insight with the young people, SEAkers. This dialogue session are like a venue for the meetings of mind, connecting the young people to the mover, shaker, and leaders of our region. Distinguished guest speakers and participants, Southeast Asia is a region that is full of potential and countless opportunity. Dynamism and diversity is at the strength of our region. While innovation and entrepreneurship has become major significance to the local and regional development, one cannot ignore the fact that these two have a role to play together in providing and improving social and digital transformation. And it is clearly seen that the young people in ASEAN are starting to actively engage in social innovation and building themselves with entrepreneurship skill. In this sense, our team, the Young SEAker Cambodia, is glad to introduce the topic for today's discussion, which is the dynamism of Southeast Asia toward an innovative and entrepreneurial ASEAN. With this topic, we have invited 3 distinguished experts to share their insight. And let me say that we are very grateful for them to join us, to share, to join us in sharing their insightful perspective in the topic. For young people like us, as I mentioned, having such experienced and well-respected leaders joining us mean a lot. With that being said, we are thankful for you and appreciate for your participation in our event today. With great pleasure, our first speaker is Dr. Yang Mi Eng. She is the Executive Director of ASEAN Foundation, and she has worked in the private and government sector for over 26 years. This is a very long time. Of course, she was most recently the Senior Vice President of Alpha Cap, and she has led and have many SME companies, including the execution of the Global Economic Expo 2019. Dr. Yang, would you like to have a word briefly? Thank you, Doctor. Please.
Thank you, Che Heng. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for Young SEAkers Cambodia chapter for inviting me, having me this evening. It is my great pleasure because I've been quite close to the SEAkers, because the founders, Kelvin, is also communicating with me in a very frequent time. So we have many times together, and I see the organization grow. I'm very glad to see that you officially been launched, and it was a success being featured in many media platforms. So congratulations for that. And also, I like to see your very nice, sexy opening title. This is what youth should do, innovation. So I actually don't have a specific topics now. Then I will go back, pass back to Chai Heng, so that later I will put my ideas into the discussion later. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. May I introduce our second guest panelist today, is Mr. Song Saron. He is the Chairman and CEO of Amru Rice Cambodia Co. Ltd. and also the President of Cambodia Rice Federation. The Amru Rice company has grown its rice export over 450,000 tons from 2011 to 2020. Mr. Saron, would you like to introduce yourself? Please, the floor is yours, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Chai Heng. Good evening to all. Good evening. I'm really happy today that they've been invited by the SEAker Cambodia chapters. And I'm very glad to meet all of you and also have a talk here with Dr. Yang and also other young dynamics Cambodian and regional and Asian. So it's my pleasure to share insight in today innovation entrepreneur in Asian. So it's it's very interesting that I see these new young people gathering and start to talk more about business entrepreneurship. So that's the way we should do. And of course, I will share more when we have the next agenda. So thank you, Chai.
Thank you, Mr. Saron. Thank you very much. Very meaningful introduction. Our third speaker is Mr. Sao Paul Desai. He is a serial entrepreneur. He is young and energetic leader, I would say. He is a founder and managing director of Go-Pray Creative Solution. Some of us here, most of us here, I may have heard at the names of this company in Cambodia. It is a Cambodia renowned brand and identity design agency, which aims to create new brand identities for hundreds of local and international clients. He is also the CEO of Soso Architect and TW Digital, which is a Phnom Penh-based digital startup with a focus on affiliated marketing, digital publishing, and media. Mr. Desai, would you like to introduce yourself? Please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Chai, and good evening to everyone. And I would like to say I am very honored to have a discussion with respected people like Dr. Yang and Mr. Saron. And I will try my best to contribute as much as I can to this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bong Desai. Without further ado, we will now proceed to our second agenda of today, which is the session that all of our participants are tuning in and very eager to listen to our speaker, the panel discussion. The topic, as I mentioned earlier, is the dynamism of Southeast Asia toward an innovative and entrepreneurial ASEAN. With that being said, I would be remiss if I would not ask the first question. This first question is to seek for your insight from all three speakers regarding, from your points of view, your perspective. What would you say? What is the importance of innovation and entrepreneurship? How would you define this? The importance of innovation and entrepreneurship. I would invite Dr. Yang first to answer this question, and then followed by the other two speakers. Please.
Thank you, Cheheng. I actually think that innovation is the core. Innovation is the cornerstone of sustained economic growth and prosperity. So innovation is therefore a core driver of economic growth, business growth, and jobs creation. So entrepreneurships actually can generate employment and as well as help to prepare individuals for a challenging and ever-changing jobs market. So innovation, I think without innovation, basically a company or organization will not be able to grow. So this is actually my opinions on innovation. So if you want to see that most of the companies in the world that make it the icon in the world, usually they put a lot of effort in R&D. So R&D means that research and development means that you will come with the innovation products. So your innovation products also has to be relevant to what market needs. And do you solve problems with your innovations? For me, every organization that wants to survive in the near future, first of all, they have to be able to change fast enough, flexible, agile. If they do not do this kind of two elements, agile and flexible, and they still do the business as old-fashioned, I think they will be left behind. So innovation, new way to do business is the key for every organization, no matter what organization. It can be entrepreneurs, it can be NGOs, government organizations. That's why there's a lot of stress on ESG. Because in future, any young people, even though let's say you're not starting your own business, you wanted to join a company, you would definitely look for company or organizations that have a mission, have a purpose, have an innovation, very good innovation. You will no longer wanted to join a company which only look at numbers only, profit, because profit will come when you have a very clear way and missions that you can solve the issues of the society, the community needs. So for me, that is the key. Innovation is the key at the core of driving the dynamic drives of every organizations. So I hope that that open out a bit of a discussion session today. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Yang. It's very, I would say, very insightful, and it's kind of reminds us, the young people, as well, of the importance of the innovation. You put strong emphasis on it, and I would recap that you understand, you emphasize that the importance of innovation is, of course, the key and core of the dynamic drive of any organization. It's not whether it is an organization or business, and it's also inspire the adaptability of the organization and strive for the future and sustainability of the organization as well. That is
Yes.
My key takeaway from your answer at the moment.
Yes, because if you do not innovate, you will not be able to move forward. And many companies, you can see that if they fail to appear in the social platforms, even in the e-commerce platform, if you fail to bring your products to your customer through the virtual platform, you will be left behind. So you are only going to serve your own small little community or people who has actually your consumer before this, which is slowly going to drift away, because consumer doesn't have a very strong brand royalty nowadays. They will go to companies where they see cheap, their price good, and they can solve their problems. These two, as a consumer, I will look at these two value. How much do I have to pay for you, and what is the value you bring for me? It can be entertainment, it can be any purpose the product give to people. It can solve issues, because even entertainment is also an issue, because people now stay at home. We are locked at home. We need a lot of content, a lot of entertainment. Ask yourself how many hours you spend watching videos, playing games. So all these things it's through innovations in terms of content, in terms of delivery. It's a total value chain. So for me, innovation is the way to move everything forward. Even in health sector, same thing. How are you going to innovate? For instance, the vaccine also is an innovation. Without the R&D and good innovation skill, how can you come up with the solutions for the whole world? Vaccination is one of the most biggest innovation for now, I think, because the health issues is the biggest issues of this time. So for me, innovation is the key for everything. Yeah.
Indeed, Dr. Yang. Thank you very much. I would like to see the answer, to hear the answer from Bong Risai after Dr. Yang. What is your take on this, Bong? What would you say to the importance of the innovation and entrepreneurship as a whole? The floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, from my perspective as let's say SME owner, I think entrepreneurship is very important to the growth, sustainable growth of the ASEAN economy as well as Cambodia economy. So we all know that entrepreneurship create job opportunities, and it helps spur the economic growth. And as a small and medium enterprise owner, we create some positive impact to the community, and also create some social change. And for innovation, I think innovation is to improve business performance, also increase productivities, and also increase competitiveness of a business. And in return, it will maximize the return of investment. So just like Dr. Yang said, without innovation, a business cannot grow. So innovation and entrepreneurship is very, interrelated. Yeah. So that's all for me.
Thank you very much, Bong. A brief recap from your answers the moment. Bong put strong emphasis on the importance of the innovation and entrepreneurship on a very interesting point, which is the link more than just the growth of the organization or company itself, but of course its contribution to the national growth, its national economic growth of Cambodia, for example, and the ASEAN at regional levels for ASEAN community as a whole, which is very interesting, of course.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Bong. Right now, I would like to seek another perspective from Mr. Saron. What do you think on this question?
Thank you, Chayeng. Actually, it looks simple. You can see right now the world is more volatile. The world is uncertain. We are living in the complexity ambiguous. So that things we need innovation. For example, COVID-19 pandemic. So no one know about it. So I say we are living in a world where everything is really rapidly changed. And I can tell you another thing, very simple. We see that 40% of the 500 Forbes top company, normally they can survive 67 years. And now people say they can survive within 15 years. You can see right now, everything is really changed. So we need innovations. Another point I want to address you is, you know, in 1800s, people living average life expectancy only 25 years. 25 years, you die. 25 years, you die. So 2000, you look on 2000s, we have more than 65 years. Some country even life expectancy go up to 80 years, like Singapore, more than that. Because the world is more innovative. They innovated how to know reduce the mortality, giving safe birth. So something that all innovation. So another point I told you, you look on the 18th century, a lot of countries use horse. They don't have cars. So you can imagine that 100 years, 200 years, only the manual of the horse can cover the city. You have nowhere to live. Everywhere is a manual. So people need to innovate. That's why cars coming, because that's somehow the world come, everything change fast. So what is innovation? Innovation is the thing you put the idea, you create some things that is value, that is very sustainability, very strong growth in your company. Innovation is not about company. It's about countries, it's about company and individual like you. You know, you need to innovate yourself. You need to be how to make you more sexy, how to make you more attractive, how to do your sell, get more, fast in your life, social media, whatever. That's somehow we need innovation. So today we address about the company level where we'll talk about entrepreneur. You know, to become entrepreneur, you have to go with values. We are not family owned. When you talk family owned, you just think about your parent, he didn't take to you, and you don't care about the system, about the 10-year, what's going on. But entrepreneur, we don't see short term. We look for the long term and sustainable. So entrepreneur, you have to look on what you do to create values, what you do to sustain your business. You take a risk. Of course, it's a risk, you know, every steps, entrepreneur take a risk. It's not easy. That's why it come up with innovation. For easy, you know, innovation sometimes it's not creating new idea. It doesn't mean like that. It's just recombination. You recombination with another part, everything exists. You need to ecosystem. You need thing to combine. I make it simple. You look Uber for the taxi. Uber, they have ecosystem. They have map. They have traffic, and they have connectivity. And you see Uber, 50 billion company. That's no profit actually, but they do know how to innovate it, to make it value, because if people think it's the future, is the model, the best model in the futures. Another simple thing, you know, Elon Musk, okay? Elon Musk is a successful entrepreneur. He's the owner of Tesla. You know how he have vision. Entrepreneur, you need to have vision. You don't have vision, you cannot be entrepreneur. You think about what your next 10 years, 20 years, whatever you want, what you dream about. So this, you can go with high, big dreams. You know, you need to big pictures. That's it. Elon Musk, he started a Tesla. You know, before Tesla, Toyota normally they sell about $80 billion, talk about that. But in the last 5 years, Tesla sells 500 billion. Because what? It's about innovation, it's about news. And you can look, many top companies disappear. Many top companies disappear because news people come, like you, young people come, they are more entrepreneur, they are more interested in innovation, they are more on change, adapt rapid change, agility. That's you make continue stronger and stronger, and the company could be old and maybe not too old, they also collapse or maybe cannot continue the business. So we can see Amazon, you can see another company, eBay, all very news company. They just start in e-commerce. So I can say entrepreneurs is a way with innovation. You come again, and you just don't think you need to create thing. You put something new. Doesn't mean you always put something new. Sometimes you do imitate it. You just combine it, but work as the corporation because you know who is your customers. You know who is your target that you need to achieve. Then, so that's somehow I think entrepreneurs should be go align it, especially on COVID-19 pandemic. Is really innovation play a very important role on this part. Okay, thank you. I just share a little bit.
Thank you very much, Monserrat. It's very detailed and very insightful as well, I would say. Bong explained from different aspects from historical approach as well, historical context as well, on how the innovation is beneficial, is significant to humanity as a whole, of course. With the last point you made is also another example of the current COVID-19 situation, which is similar to our second question here I have, my second question is, how would you perceive the current social innovation and entrepreneurship environment in ASEAN region? It's linking the current status of social innovation and entrepreneurship environment in ASEAN as a region as a whole. And with that question, I think I would go with Dr. Yang first, maybe, and then we can have one more panelist on this second question as well. If you would like to share your insight on this question. Dr. Yang, please.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, the entrepreneurships and also the social enterprise. I mean, social enterprise business actually starts in 1970s. You know, most of the hot hits that time. But I think at this moment, social enterprises will be the key to look into, to be nurtured, because it has got purpose to solve the social issues, social and the community issues in ASEAN. So I see there is a mushrooming of, mushrooming means many youth has looked into social enterprises. That's why we do, in ASEAN Foundation also, we do have a programs called Social Enterprise Development Programs. We launched it last 2 months, together with the support of GIZ, German government. So for us, it's like, if we want to have a recovery plan during this COVID time, we cannot do it alone, government and NGOs. You know, there must be a collaborative efforts. Collaboration is the key. So collaborations means we need to collaborate with the public also. We need to collaborate with the business people. So business people means enterprises and also social enterprises. You know, MSMEs, SMEs, you know, all these are actually the focus. And in ASEAN itself, there are more than 89%, you know, or close to 90% of enterprises are SMEs and MSMEs. You know, this category of business people, you know, is the main one in ASEAN. So you didn't see the big companies in ASEAN. It's mainly still MSMEs and SMEs. So that's why there are many blueprint by designed and created by strategy policy makers in ASEAN. Especially if you look into ASEAN Economic Community AEC Blueprint 2025, you know, which focus on fostering long-term competitiveness and sustainability that are driven by inclusive and innovation-led growth to help youth develop themselves to be more resilient and innovative. So there is a blueprint. And at the same time, I think it is also worth to look into the another programs of business program, which is RCEP, but RCEP is going to only happen hopefully by 2022, because after 10 years of discussion, finally, it is accepted by 15 players. 15 players mean five dialogue partners, including the biggest economy in Asia, Japan, Korea, and also China. So you plus the 10 member states, of course, New Zealand and Australia, So this RCEP will be the future key. And also during this pandemic time, strategy maker, leaders of all the ASEAN countries knows the importance of enterprises, and also to push these sectors, because this is a part of the recovery plan, because there are plans to have single financial services which run across the whole 10 countries. There is a system that they're trying to build, cohesive system, so that trading, and then business can actually work in the smooth lanes, open the lanes, because right now every country has their own financial systems and all that. So there is a strategic plan, policies being drafted to actually encourage more ASEAN-based business trading to happen. So all these actually are opportunities. And then for enterprises, I think if you ask me that whether many countries face the same issues, because even in Malaysia, because I came from Malaysia, our government put in a lot of efforts, and they have special programs, Malaysian trades and all that, they have special programs to build this entrepreneurships, MSMEs and SMEs sector. But again, it all boils down to whether this company can actually go beyond Malaysia or beyond their own national boundaries. So there are many things has been put in place and drafted. I think by 2022 we will see, enterprises will actually accelerate with the plans that recovery plans been put in place. I hope that the development speed will be the same for the country. We know that certain countries are moving faster in the enterprise sectors. For instance, Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, I think Indonesia and also Vietnam are moving faster. So you have a less developed states in ASEAN, which is like Laos and Cambodia and Myanmar with the political issues right now, challenges, will be a bit slower, I think. So in terms of that, but then again, if we look into the opportunities that open up now I think every enterprises in ASEAN has been given a chance to play in the level turf, because you only have one platform here now, virtual platforms, e-commerce, so this is a level playing turf that everyone has the same opportunity. So how fast you can grab, and how fast you can innovate, and how fast you can put your products, in the e-commerce platform or in the social media platforms to attract your buyers and consumer, that is the race, I think, for the future. So but for youth enterprises, I think you will be faster, because from all the research that been done, World Economic Forums, they have done so many research, it says that young people actually adopt to new technology faster than any of the other groups, because you are born in the millennial, Gen Y, Gen X, so you are already born in this kind of environment. For my generation, I'm not sure if Saran will agree. Saran, you and I think in the same level, same. So for us, it's like, the research still find that UNDP research, you go and find the research, the latest research on 2020. Older people, older generation businessmen or businesswomen still using the same old methods. The only thing they do is maybe go to social media, that's all. Digitalization is not really there. But for young people, they are willing to go for digitalization of business processes, financial. Young people use more digital platform and digital economy, compared to older generations. But there is one biggest challenge for entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, and also social enterprise is their lack of access to financing. So financing is very important because first of all, your lack of experience, new in the business. So for the funders, even angels, funders, venture capitalists, or whoever you want to go, bank, first of all, they will want to look at your portfolio. What is your track records, So all that maybe will be hindering you from actually achieving, getting funds to fund your business. So I think that is the challenge of all ASEAN enterprises right now, searching for fund. But I think if you talk about digital adaptation, digital way of doing business, young people has no issues, But again, if you want to go into digitalizations, you need a big capital, because it's not cheap. It's not like you can just put in, just put in Facebook, or just put in any of the free platforms, but you need money to actually push your ads to be at the front. All these are actually something you need capital, Without funds, you really cannot do much. Free stuff has got limitation for you. So that is one challenge, finding, and that's why the future education of policymakers to look into this enterprise, because enterprise is very important for me, because we don't want all the youth to be hopping for same jobs. Everybody run and work for people. Everybody just want to apply for jobs, but we wanted the enterprise here to create jobs, so people work for them. So it's another way of looking at the value chain of employment. There are two things that youth want to do. Some have got no idea they want to do business. So for enterprises, actually, is the group of people who have got future to drive the economy. So for me, it's very key. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. It's very detailed. Anyway, you offer many different aspects of the current environment of the innovation as well, entrepreneurship in ASEAN, and you also emphasize about the significant roles of youth for future social entrepreneur and innovation of ASEAN as well. From my take is that their unique strength in adaptability give it a promising future for the region as well. However, I have another question. The third question is I would like to ask to Bong to say as well, and it's directly linked with the youth. From your point of perspective, Bong, as a young CEO yourself, what would be your perspective on how can youth try for more social innovation and entrepreneurship initiatives? The floor is yours, Bong. Thank you. Bong, excuse me, I cannot hear you. Maybe you still mute. Yeah.
Excuse me, Honor, can you ask me again the question?
Of course, Bong.
I need to know a bit.
Yes, of course. We would love to hear your perspective as you are a young CEO yourself, handling a few business at your hand right now. So what would be your perspective on how can use the young people drive for more social innovation and entrepreneurship, both in their country or maybe at regional levels as well, if you may share on that?
I think in order for youth to help drive the social innovation and entrepreneurship is to grow interest in those things. So it's important for all stakeholders to promote entrepreneurship to the youth, so that they can start to become more interested in learning about all those things, and maybe youth can participate in events or maybe seminar like this to understand how important is the entrepreneurship and innovation in sustainable development of the nation, or maybe the ASEAN as a whole. So to have interest is key to drive more innovation and also entrepreneurship. Yeah, I have only this.
Thank you very much, Wong. Your answer is very simple and easy to catch up for us, the young people. I would say, my highlight from my key takeaway from your suggestion is that first, the fundamental step for youth to get involved more in the social enterprise or social innovation initiative is, first of all, of course, to grow their interest as well. But in order to do that, the relevant stakeholder, let's say the government or school and other organizations who are working to empower youth, need to address more promotion to promote their interests among youth as well. So this is very important. Anyway, I would continue to another question, which is also interesting, is how do you see the relation between innovation and entrepreneurship to the sustainable growth of Southeast Asia region as a whole? So this question, anyone among the three speakers, would like to share the perspective? Can go first. Or maybe Wong Saron, would you like to share your perspective on that one regarding the relation between the innovation and entrepreneurship with the sustainable growth of our region as a whole? The floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It's a very good question. I think Madame Jiang already touched a little bit on social enterprise, meaning social entrepreneurship. That should be play a very important tense. If you think about sustainable development, you think about equity, where you include no one behind. You include all poor people in it. You include smallholder farmer. You include all SME, small site, women. All should be in it. So in my opinion, those young entrepreneurs should be considered to a business model, should be inclusive business model. You know that because as a young entrepreneurs, you should have more information. What is potential? What is your capability, your knowledge, and your resources to take over the jobs. So sustainable development, you talk about SDG with United Nations, you talk about 17 SDG goals, where is sustainable development goal. Each country is a member of the United Nations, committed to do so. Those things should be in mind to the young entrepreneurs. You should learn about SDGs, and then you should shape the business model, investing on sustainable, ethical, and responsible. Think about that. Then you will have an idea what should do. You can start from small. We are entrepreneurs. We want to take risk. So we start with the project. That's why I said earlier, innovation, you must be agility. Always be agility and rapid change, because those things can change immediately, where you cannot stick. You cannot stay still or stay calm or quiet and wait for COVID-19, for example, to wait for COVID-19 disappear, for example. No, entrepreneur don't wait. You need to do some things. Innovate the business, change the way business model should be implemented in innovation, in strategic innovation, or the way you control the own business. So to do this, we have many stakeholders. I think Madame Jiang already touched. We have international development partner, we have government. You need to learn because you are entrepreneurs. If you don't talk about policy, who make the policy? Which ministry? Follow the government policy where you can take advantage, opportunity from the policy. That's why I say even government, they also have innovations in the way in each government doing in Asian. Cambodia right now, we have just a new mapping digital economy as a new strategy of government. So as a young entrepreneur, you should learn and you should take notes. What is government move? And don't forget to develop yourself. Because when the government going on, we need the young resource person like you to continue the job. We are old. We are not success in the future like you. So the young should follow with the government policy where you can take advantage from the policy. You can shape your business. You can remodel your business. You can create more opportunity and more chance to success. And then you should look on ecosystem. Entrepreneur, you cannot, for example, you create, of course, in a way you create a new idea, but you should not too far from ecosystem. You should be in contact with all stakeholders. We have producers, we have government stakeholder, NGOs, even the customer, your buyer, should be relationship, collaboration, make a participatory approach, make more transformations where you can get all in on the same page. Then that's a very good chance of success. So I just tell you that please look on ASEAN 660 million people. You don't look only Cambodia with just 16 million people. You look on the market, ASEAN 660 million. It's a big opportunity for the young people, young entrepreneur. You take advantage. How you do that? You cannot supply or you cannot work all 600. You look on a searchment, which searchment fit your entrepreneurs, where you can bring sustainable growth to your own nation, to your own people. But we are in ASEAN harmony. But of course, in this, we need political stability, we need peace, we need all the macroeconomy stability. So these important things for the young people. If you don't, you have war. You look on Afghanistan, you look on Yemen, it just disappeared in just a moment. Investor going out. So you are young people, you are an entrepreneur, you also lost opportunity because you need ecosystem. You can't live without big one. You have to connect with the, with the government, with the big private company, small producer, that can be sustainable growth. When you have this, you have to look back like 10 years ago or back, 20 years back. So that's really important thing. You look on peace, you look on harmony, you have to look on political stability. That shape your futures. So that's my input. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Wong. It's very interesting. You highlight on the key importance of how youth can take advantage from the national policies of the government that are already in place and make it as an advantage for their business growth as well. And regarding the market, let's say Cambodia is a small country as your example, but the ASEAN market is very big, and there's something, the relation between local enterprise can connect to the region's market as well and take advantage of it. Anyway, I would proceed to the next question as well, which is, any speaker can share on this as well regarding this upcoming question, is what sector in ASEAN do you think is in need more of innovation? You mentioned, of course, all sectors, all kinds of business require innovation, but if you can pick maybe one or two that are the most pressing sector that require more innovation and entrepreneurship to boost their development right now, what would it be? Or maybe just a short answer to this one. Anyone would like to go first on this?
I let the businessman go first.
Okay, everyone is saying you would like to go first.
After the businessman, I come in.
Okay, so just like you said, every sector needs innovation and entrepreneurship. But for Cambodian context, we can I can say that agricultural industry should be the first to get the innovation and entrepreneurship, because we all say that agriculture is the main sector of Cambodia, but we still stay behind other countries. So I think agriculture is the first priority.
Wow. very interesting one. To be honest, it's really
But
reflective.
I'm not expert in this, so I might be wrong.
That's wrong, but yes, thank you very much. I think I would agree with
Maybe we
you.
let Sarang say. You know, Sarang is a senior in the enterprise.
Yes.
Got
He's,
some better
Mr. Saron here is also the president of Cambodia Rice Federation, so maybe Bong Saron would like to share on this as well.
after Sarang, I will come in.
Yeah. Okay. I just share my idea. I think Borasay already touched something for Cambodia context. Of course, Cambodia, we are moving to more Asian, equal, meaning we try to catch up, maybe not to Singapore, Malaysia, but maybe Vietnam or Indonesia on technology, digitalization, AR, Internet of Things. We try to develop this. You look on government policy, it just recent months create a tremendous policy. Yeah. So young people should look on that. So we are trying to make a gap because we cannot too far from Asian countries, member states. We need to be closer. So this look on Asian context, but you look on Cambodia context. We are agriculture, 3 million people is the farmers, 3 million people doing the agricultures. We just produce raw material. We just export the raw material to Vietnam, to Thailand, and they innovate. They create another product. That of course, that's why Borasay erase about it, and we know that. But you come up with technology, you come up with innovation to be competitive, because you cannot compete Vietnam, you cannot compete Thailand. That's why you sell the raw material to them. We are not surrendered, but we need to take advantage of the market. Of course, it's a low value when you do export raw material. It's a low value, but you look to strengthen yourself, strengthen your country, strengthen your cell, in the company individually. So when you're in enough strength, you don't need to do so. You can create, you can process, and you export directly. You look on that. That's why we need young people like you. We need more people like you to learn, and then you need to research, like Madame Jam said, R&D. I can say one example on my own company. Cambodia, we are top 4 in organic rice export to EU countries. You can't find anything, you will become top 4 as exporters of agricultures. We are way far behind, but you look on searchment, you look on some searchments, not big, but we are proud of. It means we are specialization. You try to be specialized where you can have competitiveness, you can compete with your neighbor countries, you can stay on the market, bring the medal to the countries. That should be focused on capability, ecosystem. I mean resource. Yeah, I mean Cambodia resource, where we have resources, we can go on that. So I see we have very connect to other Asian states. We are having RCEP, like Madame Jiang said, where China is one important big market, meaning it open for us to process and export to China directly. But why we cannot? Because we have no innovation, we have no entrepreneur. That's why China closed the market, because your product is not enough safe. I mean, food safety or technology to process the product safety for consumer to eat. They don't have confidence. But now, young people coming, they start up with the new technology. They bring more machinery.
Sorry to interrupt, Bong, but I think there's some internet
technical
connection
issue. Yeah, connection. Saran's connection.
I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
IAR.
Still cannot hear.
Internet of Things data. You can use this technology to process. Hello? Hello.
I think your internet was
Yeah, my internet is
at the moment.
weak.
Sarah, I think
No.
I want to echo to what Saran has mentioned, because inclusiveness. Just now earlier Sarah mentioned about inclusive approach. It's not only youth alone moving forward. It has to be together with the older generations. You know, each of our generations have our strength. You know, so for what Sarah mentioned, I just want to add on is like, for instance, like maybe the older generation has the experience in setting up a company, solid already, but they do not have the technical or the new digital technology, you know, so the young people can come in. That's why in ASEAN Foundation also, we encourage young people also to go for agriculture, because agriculture is a dying in sectors, you know, only the older people is doing it. You know, all the young people go to the city and work for people, you know, so the farm land owner, you know, the old traditional business, you know, will be die, you know, in a long, you know, in a natural way, yeah, because of no innovation. So this is one of the example. I mean that when you ask about, the question is asked about what is the field sectors that will be more advanced, will be have potential. I also echo to what Saran has mentioned. Sometimes it is up to the different countries in ASEAN, because ASEAN countries, the 10 countries are very diverse, very different, you know, so you have different kinds of strength and you have different kinds of resources and things that you can do. Like the one that the countries over the Mekong River and all that, Laos, Cambodia and all that, you know, they are very good in rice productions, you know, but when you come to south a bit, you know, Singapore and all that, there is no productions, you know, in raw materials and all that. So I think as an ASEAN region, ASEAN members, we have to work together. That's why ASEAN is a very strong economy bloc. If you take ASEAN by 2050, if we can actually climb up and back to normal and recover fast enough, by 2050, we are the 4th biggest economy blocks in the world. You know, before that, we were on track. We were on track of becoming the 4th biggest economy in the world. But because of the pandemic, we are hit very hard. So now we are stagnant. And in fact, many small businesses close shop, cannot sustain, you know. So the one that really sustain, I would just say that we'll have the digitalization's business processes. If you're looking at the Southeast Asia internet sector alone, already worth more than 50 billion USD right now. So it is poised to grow in the coming years, and it should be among the main beneficiaries of the expansions is SMEs, enterprises. Because with the internet growth means the demand, and if the infrastructure can be strengthened, because Southeast Asia in terms of penetrations and infrastructure is still low compared to North America. You know, it's only 58% of penetrations of internet access in Southeast Asia in comparison with Europe country, America, you know. So there are policymakers would definitely have to look into strengthening the ecosystem, which is the digital platform and infrastructure. Because if I ask you, like now, we have problems with internet access, you know, even like Saran, you know, he want to share some ideas, you know, he got interrupted. So if we do not have a good infrastructure, we cannot study, we cannot, you know, learn, and we cannot innovate. So this is actually a very important ecosystem backbone that all the ASEAN member states have to look into it. I think the partnerships with telcos, you know, public-private partnership is the key to go. Because if you keep on asking government to do all the work, I think, you know, you will never reach there. So it has to be public-private partnerships. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yang. Bong Saron, excuse for the moment the internet was cut off, so I would have to pass the floor to Dr. Yang at the moment. Very sorry for that. We understand. Anyway, 3 of you shared an interesting point. Bong Say mentioned that for Cambodia context, of course, rice and agricultural industry is one of the most important sector for our economy, but the lack of digitalization is still required for more promotion as well. And the government recently, Bong Saron, also highlight the government effort in promoting these sectors as well. And Dr. Young make another interesting point is that we cannot answer with give a short answer to what are the sectors that are most required this tool, innovation and entrepreneurship in ASEAN, since the region itself is very diverse and many countries, so it's different context. However, as the time is really approaching, I think we have a very interactive discussion, I would say, but maybe I can have maybe one or two questions more before I open the floor for our participants to ask questions. My next question would be, in light of the COVID-19 situation right now, if there's an opportunities and challenges that are presented for the innovation and entrepreneurship scale, what would you say in this part? I mean, what from your understanding, what is the main opportunities and are some of the challenges in innovation and entrepreneurship sectors? Any one of you can share on this as well? Maybe a short one. Bong Saron, would you like to share on this regarding the challenge and opportunity regarding in the context of COVID-19?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for the disruption with technology, like Madam Yang said. So that's one of these,
it's a challenge.
Yeah, key challenges in the new, yeah. So in terms of this, I just say short, you have to prepare for the new normal. You need to learn how to live with this virus. You need to do business with this virus. You cannot wait until it is disappeared. So innovation, it plays a very important role. Lay out your strategy innovation where you should be focused to improve your own business. Probably you just need to survive in a very, very short time. So I can see this is boom on platform that we are working, Zoom, for example. We can use them to connect your customer. So that's part of this, business. You can innovate your product. You cannot visit them, but you can connect them. You can have a meeting every week, maybe every month, maybe better than you visit them. So for example, you travel to Singapore, to Malaysia with your partner, meeting business partner, or Europe or United States. But now you can connect with this platform. So in this moment, I see the e-commerce platform, online platform, technology, innovation has play a good role for your business, for entrepreneur. They can sustain, they can run, continue the business without really waiting for the thing and like opening, fly restriction or economy opening. So you can do that. But we still lack of ecosystem because not all work well. In the COVID-19, some parts are closed, some parts open. It's not fully, so it's still a big challenge. So opportunity in Cambodia is agriculture, because why? People need to eat. Even they are stuck in the house, they need to eat food. They need to eat stuff. Especially for all this agriculture, we can see a lot of opportunity. Cambodia see every sector minus, meaning in our economy minus 3 something in 2020, but agriculture growth 0.5%. So all the sector minus, we are heavily impacted. So in Cambodia context, we see agriculture has been a good chance. So need to continue this. It's not about just about COVID because you do this, now no COVID, I don't do it. No, it's not about it. Continuity. Continue, make yourself, innovate your products, set up your plan, strategic plan. I said, the last one is business model. You know what to do to success. So you create this. So Cambodia, we look on bigger pictures, not about only raw material, we need to process. So it's a chance that in the COVID-19, young entrepreneurs should look on processing in the way, you look on the longan issues, you look on mango issues, all these you can process to fruit, to pack, cane, or to syrup or purees, process it. And because many countries like Malaysia import, like Singapore also need this. They cannot grow mango or maybe grow something in Cambodia like longan, for example. So we need young people to create something, a chance for you, a lot of opportunity, because this time period farmer faces a lot of challenges in access to market because of COVID-19. So not easy to export. We have disruption on logistic disruption where many port close because they need to close. Because why is the outbreak at port, COVID-19? So people need to stay home and government close the port. So the port closed, meaning every disruption happening, many countries need to export. So this time we need process in Cambodia context. You need to do a lot of process because you have multi-million tons of raw material where, for example, Vietnam closed 1 month already. So what are you going to do? They just open some part. So for example, this is really happening in Cambodia. So I encourage the young people in Cambodia, youth, like you take part in agri technology where you can go high technology to process those products and then innovate your product. You see your customer, which part is your customer, you do shape your customer, process it, and then I hope that you can be a next generation to solve these issues for Cambodia. Maybe also a part of ASEAN that you can be a key person to to address the issues at the Asian level. Yeah, that's my thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bong. Very insightful. Anyway, I would like to ask from Bong to say as well, since we are talking about the presenting opportunities and challenges in the recent context of COVID-19. Bong, yourself is a serial entrepreneur, and from my understanding, many of your business are focused on digital marketing and brand identity. So from your personal experience in your business, how this COVID-19 situation bring any opportunities or challenges to your business if you compare it to the pre-COVID-19 and the current situation right now, especially in the context of Cambodia? Thank you, Bong.
Okay. If we talk about the crisis, that there is a quote that said there is also always opportunity amidst the crisis. So if we talk about the opportunity, we can see that the growth of digitalization is accelerated in a very rapid pace, and people now are more digitalized. They use a lot of apps to make payment, to order food, to buy things, and this also happened in Cambodia. This is very good for innovation and entrepreneurship, and we can see a lot of new entrepreneurs in tech, such as in Cambodia. We will see a lot of new app, new business coming, and that they find the opportunity during this crisis. But there are also a lot of challenges. Let's say economic slowdown, disruption to some economic activities, especially for traditional business, food and beverage, or many other sector, and also drop in productivity because we are more stressful and worried. So this is the challenge. But I have one more thing to add to the opportunity. Let's say for my example, for my experience, we can meet client online. So this is a good thing. Meeting client online is good because it reduces the carbon emission from commuting from one place to another. So this is the good thing for the environment, and I would like to share with all of you. That's all.
I actually totally agree. Totally agree with all. Because before that, we can only have 1 meeting per day or 2 meetings after a traffic jam. But now I can jump from one room to another room to another room. In one day, I can have 10 meetings sometimes.
Yes.
So it's actually look at the silver lining, like what Paul has mentioned. In the crisis time, if you are very good and if you are if you can spot the opportunity, Now when we are doing all this discussion, I think you should already see the opportunities. What else is there? Because digital marketing is definitely the key, because nobody not going to use digital marketing. They have to sell products. They need this expert. That's why gig economy also is one thing. Sometimes you don't have to hire many people. You only have 1 or 2 people in your company, a very low cost overhead, So, and also certain things like data policies, data analytics skills, all these businesses in future, AI, like what Sarang has mentioned, companies definitely want to have this service, They want to identify what products to push to their clients. AI can do that. For instance, like sometimes when you search one brand, one shoes, you want to buy a shoes, and suddenly the whole night you will be blasted, by all the shoes products coming to you, So this is the kind of things. I mean, nowadays we are really cheated, as a consumer. We thought that we are choosing and do selections ourselves, but actually we are being fed and presented, by the AI, the bot and whatever smart, intelligent data system at the back, helping to push for the sales. I myself is one of the victims because I shop like crazy online. Yeah. So if you look at the World Economic Forum, it mentioned during this pandemic times, they did a research on 60,000 ASEAN youth, and they mentioned that 87% of youth increase their usage of at least one digital tools during this time. And then 42% of youth pick up at least one new digital tools during this time, and how many people? 1 in every 4 person, already started the e-commerce selling. You can imagine everybody is now selling online. So during this because I was in Malaysia Digital Economy before I joined ASEAN Foundation, we have been pushing so much of e-commerce for the past 15, 19 years, and it never happened. It is so slow, the take-up is so slow. But suddenly from last year until now, the e-commerce boomed very fast. So this pandemic actually accelerate the e-commerce. Previously, when you talk about e-commerce, people say, no, I don't need it, But now everybody will knock on your door, say, hey, I want to be in the virtual world. I want to sell my product. Please help me. So gig economy, digital marketing skills, and also e-payments and cybersecurity. I mean that this is the huge thing, cybersecurity. If you are asking me about the digital skills sectors, because in cybersecurity, you have to, in future, all the security things is at stake. Even in the payment, in the database, in your KYC and all that, KYC is your clients' details and things like that are very, very important for security purpose. So all these sectors, maybe you can do service-based. And instead, because not many people are born with their parents have old business, then they continue, not many people is in that category. Yeah. So if you want to have a service base, you go for digital skills, you can go and learn all these skills. Data analytics skill is also very good, because I think climates and environmental, this is also another big thing. That's why you have many financial institutions and big organizations going for ESG. So environmental, social, and governance. So I think this is also the big things to look into, pollutions, climate change, So maybe if you can do a business related to this, it is another section. Of course, the biggest business now, I think, is health industry, because whoever has the vaccine will be very rich, They're selling like millions, and people are waiting at the doorstep. Please give me the product now. This is a lack of supply, So if all the ASEAN country, also one thing I wanted to highlight is I hope that the policymakers also, my counterpart ASEAN side, can draft a policy that ASEAN members are inter-regional, supporting each other, buy each other's product, watch each other's content, movies, music, I mean, it's about time for us to push for that, because I hope that with the RCEP and with people outside looking at ASEAN as a wow, it's a big economy blocks, as what Sarang has mentioned, 660 million people, and 61% of the population is young people below 35, 383 million. So people are drooling when they look at ASEAN, wow, young people can actually, a lot of things can sell to them. You guys spend money, you can buy one mobile phone, iPhone, without thinking twice. But for my generation, I buy iPhone, I have to think plan 6 months saving, So it's very different mentality and very different kinds of consumerism habits we have right now. Young people are willing to pay if they want something, So that's why people are looking into ASEAN as a wow, consumerism, product sellings, you see all the brands is coming, rich, if we are cash rich later when the economy booming back, I think this consumer products things, young people is the really big market for the world, for ASEAN. Productive, energetic, young people. Yeah. So that's why we are very dynamic, Yeah. So I pass back to
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. and Bong Risai. You highlight very important, interesting point. Probably one of the key sectors that enjoy most from this pandemic is the e-commerce industry. They take the whole cake, of course. So anyway, I have asked you for many questions already, and I'm really glad to ask all these questions, and it's create a very interactive and thinkings regarding the current context of our region on the social innovation and entrepreneurship. However, I would now welcome for the question from our participant right now. We have two participants who already asked the question in the chat box, who are very eager to ask three of you, I would say. So I would read the first question is from Ling. She asked that based on your personal experience, she would like you to define the term innovation in 3 simple words. Can you describe innovation, define the meaning of innovation in 3 words, or maybe less or more? Any one of you would like to answer to that, please? Okay, more than 5, please.
Okay, if I am to define innovation in 3 words, I would say 1 is growth, 2 is competitiveness, 3 is productivity. I'm not sure if it is right, but that's all I can say.
Oh,
sorry.
That's actually very good, I would say. Competitiveness, and the last one is, may I repeat again what the last one is?
Productivity.
Productivity, of course. I think Lang would be very satisfied with this answer. I would say the 3 words really indicate the big pictures of innovation as a whole. It's contribute to the growth and competitiveness. Bong Saron and Dr. Yang would like to share on this question as well. Okay, Bong Saron, maybe you can go first.
Okay. Yeah, I think, as I said earlier, when people are not stressful about creating idea, it means a new idea, meaning they innovate something. So when you talk about creativity, when you talk about connectivity, and you talk about ecosystems, that's all, even technologies, that's all about innovation. So creativity is very, can say, first to be innovative. So you create, but I say sometimes you don't need to create. You just look to existing, because many fragile, many things, points, piece by piece, you need to recombinant.
I think Bong Saron have the unstable with his internet again. I would say. Bong, are you still here with us?
Are you still here? Yeah.
This is, like Dr. said, this is the challenge during
Yeah, this is the challenge. sometimes I got kicked out from the meeting, you know. I was like, oh, no, I'm out, you know.
It's right. Oh.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Yeah,
I
now
can-
can.
Yeah. I don't know what the internet is very slow. At the weekend away like that. So I just say, innovation, just make it simple. Sometimes people stressful, they cannot get idea. They just think, okay, I need to have new ideas, but just make simple. You just try to recognize existing already exist. You adapt it and you reduce to make it also innovation. Second, I can make simple imitation. People think always innovate. But you know how China's strength, why China become the #1 in AR, in the news, and now the powerful economy, because China imitate. Sometimes you don't need to innovate, you just imitate. It's to make simple. Why every iPhone come to China? They need to many things about technology transfer. You need to tell them the recipe, what you want to do. So when they do, they can have their own Huawei, they can have their own Xiaomi. There are many phones coming up and very cheap price. There's some come up. If you try so stressful to create or to innovate things very new, costly, a lot of money. Research and development costs you a lot of money. In the developing country or poor country like us, try to imitate first. You make yourself to become next level, then you can have enough resource to innovate something. In this moment, I like to suggest you to recombination, imitate, and make your own way. And new that address your consumer matter. You need to address that matter. What is your idea? Why you need to innovate? Because you want to address your customer issues. You want to feel the customer expectation. That's why you innovate. That's why you need to imitate. You know, why Cambodia social media, digital media boom? Because they do the same in China. They do the same like in Thailand. People sell a lot in social platform. They earn a lot of money. That's why here is not, sometimes you say, oh, why people do success in selling on Facebook, on live, sell their products. It's not the case in Cambodia. It's not new because they do the same thing in Thailand, in China. They sell very fast on the social media. So it's just in the poor country like us, there is not really, there are a lot of, let's say, benefit. You're not so really, IP issues, something like that. You do that, you make it fast. If you do try to create something very new that you want, like say, like you Singapore, you want to do something like Malaysia or higher, you will be 30 years, I don't know when you can create, you set up some things because you don't have resources. You're not multi-million dollars. Even you raise fund on IPO. Our IPO is really not so even like Indonesia, like Vietnam, it's very far, just 1,000 company on IPO. So you cannot raise funds. You cannot innovate something. So in my takeaway, sometimes don't stress so much on innovation, imitation, recommendation, reuse, to make something reuse. Something you need to be a partner, cooperation. You cannot take without their approval too. You need to be a partnership, collaboration. That's some you can speed up your business, innovation. So in my my remark, I think it's more than that. I just stressed on too much about this, otherwise you cannot move. For example, I do rice, organic rice or healthy rice, baby rice. It's not new for me because I imitate from Italy, I imitate from Spain, I imitate from another country. Because why? They are lack of water, they lack of resources. They cannot do this job. So it's my job to do, to replace them. It's not new. If I create new, sometimes people say, oh, I sell baby rice. They say, what is a new product? It's a new innovation. Yeah, it is here, but it's not here. You talk about this in Argentina, you talk about this in Italy or Spain. It's not new product. It's an old one for them because they did 10 years, 20 years already. So that sometimes if I don't take this, I will not have able to compete and not able to sustain, to have the poor people, to have indigenous people who living on a mountain. They don't have job to do. They need to specialize. They need to have more premium products to sell. So that's I suggest that. So yeah, maybe Madam, maybe you have more something to add.
I want to echo. Of course, creative is definitely one of them. I want to give 3 words because this is the homework you give me. Just now I was thinking. I have CUU, Q, creative, unique, and usable. If you are innovating but you cannot use, no point, no value. The same goes to some of the last time, I was in the creative industry. Many of the creative people has beautiful concept and spirit, but cannot produce it, very hard to produce it. No point. You need like multi-million dollar, like what we go back to what Sarah mentioned. Do you have the capital? You create something, you innovate something, but do you have the capital to follow through? Knowing that the limitation of fundings in the ASEAN, for SMEs. So think about that. I throw it back to you. So another thing is our education system. I just want to stress, what Sarah has mentioned. We are not able to innovate because we do not have the ecosystem to innovate. We are created with the wrong formula earlier. The formula that didn't stress on STEM, STEM, science, technology, because we were all, many of us are into more on the, I would just say the arts and all that sometimes, our passion is there as a ASEAN. So we cannot innovate sometimes when it comes to, science and technology. We lack of the skill. So now we have to go back to the science and technology education system. So now if government want to change, I think the impact will only be felt another 10 years, 20 years from now. So by that time, hopefully things doesn't change very much. Then we are always chasing, behind the trend. So we do need, hopefully all the young people here today can have a forward thinking, can think, that's why enterprises and startup and business people like you guys can think ahead, because you are the survival. Without the survival skill, you will not be here today, still doing your business. After 2 years of pandemic, you still can have the business, means you are very good. Means you are in the right path, So if you are struggling, means it's about time for you to innovate and redesign your business. So for me, it's also what I wanted to also echo what Sarah mentioned. Why is it sometimes his product is not from scratch? His product is nothing new, but he can sell. I think Saran must be very good in branding and marketing. How you brand certain thing. If Saran brand that my products come from mountain, mountain people, organic, this is a very unique selling propositions, innovative, because now people are not into factory, people are looking for different kinds of unique value they can have, unique experience they can have. You ask the Chinese consumer from China, since today we are also, Young Seekers is into China things, partnerships, they are stressing a lot on experience. The young people wanted experience. They are willing to pay for experience. Why people pay to go to the, moon? Why people pay so much money? Because of experience. Yeah, so, the rich people, the market, that's why you have to also know who is your market. Of course, we are not going to create a rocket and bring the people go to moon, so that is we cannot achieve that for our level yet, So maybe one day, one of you guys here, will be able to get some funds, do a good pitching. Because for me, from the, what business people who I used to bring to business last time, the startup, their biggest challenge is they are no confident. ASEAN business, young business people sometimes lack of confidence. When they pitch, when the funders ask 1 or 2 questions, they panic already. They don't know how to answer because they are so scared that what they do are not be accepted. So that's why it is very important to do a lot of research before you really go forward looking for your funders, because your bullet is only one time, remember. Once you fail to convince them, the second time you go again, they will have the same impression on you, fail. So the first impression is always very important. Do your homework. Same goes to asking for job, also same thing here. When you come to ask for a job from ASEAN Foundation, I interview people. If you can tell me that you did a lot of homework, you can talk to me very confidently, you know your stuff, I will hire you. It's about the attitude, it's about your initiative and how much you put into it. I mean, the business people can see how much you put the business. If I'm a funder, I ask you, are you confident you can make this business return or revenue ROI in 2 years' time? But if your answer is, I don't know. So if I ask you how much you're putting the money into your own business, you said nothing, I put 0, but I put my skill. So as a funders, I look at it. If you do not have confidence on your own business, why do I have to put my money in your business? So there's many things to learn from me, if you're looking for funding. So this is some of the tips. So I hope the CUU, you can still remember, creative, unique, usable. That's my answer. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yang, Bong Risai, and Bong Sanon. It's very descriptive answers indeed, but may I just ask for permission a bit, since our events originally was planned to end at 8:30, and right now we are already at 8:30 p.m. in Phnom Penh time. I may ask to maybe extend the time a little bit. Is that okay for you? Maybe taking in maybe 1 or 2 questions more. Okay, since our participant is very interesting with your answer, I cannot help with that. they keep asking questions, so maybe I will just take only 1 or 2 questions more, and maybe just 1 or 2 of you can answer on each of the question, and we can end the session today. Another question here is that I think it's very interesting as well, is that for she mentioned that most of the young people are struggle with finding innovative and ideas to start their own initiative or businesses. So how would you inspire them on how to find those ideas? To be exact, the question is, where do the panelists think the innovative idea come from? So any one of you would like to share on that?
Maybe I start first.
Okay, Doctor.
The 2 businessmen, wait. I will, okay. Now, because it's a pandemic time, so I will highly recommend, if you do not have any ideas, sometimes it's good to do volunteering work first. You do a volunteering work, you observe, because I learn a lot from observation. If you ask me, okay, people ask me, doctor, where you get your doctorate, you're very smart. I say, no, I'm not smart, but I learn from people. I usually sit down and talk to people and ask them, what is how they do it, their experience, better than reading books. Actually, books, of course, I read, but after a few pages, I switch off, I become sleepy. I don't know why, maybe it's the age. So one thing is, and then also over information in the internet, my God, so many information. I just put 1 keywords, there are thousands of links, so sometimes I'm drowned inside, So for me, is to network with people, to contact people, talk to people sometimes, make friends, and do volunteering work. If your passion is in certain field, then you look for the related. If you are in climate change and environmental, then you look for the environmental volunteering for NGOs. And if you even, it's not wasted. You can have like attachment, maybe volunteers with them like 2-3 months. Then you find out about what is needed, what is the gap, because enterprise main objective is to solve problem, and after that to make money. Social enterprise also, so the best way is to do volunteering work. Secondly is definitely you have to read and study reports and all that, like what Saran has mentioned just now. A very good point. One thing about the entrepreneurs is you are disconnected from the government world, the policymakers world. Sometimes you just do something or out of passion maybe, but you do not see the market needs, whether this is what the market needs or not. You know, some people still wanted to do traveling, you know, but I just wonder why, you know, but maybe they have their own stories, you know, because now the traveling sectors is really affected, you know, unless the ARTA, you know, the travel bubble open in ASEAN. There is a plan for that, you know. So, but for me, it's reading, networking, get to know people, and then also biography. Biography of successful people also is important, because inside the biography or the books and all that, sometimes you can find a lot of ideas, you know. These people share their experience, but don't look for biography of maybe 20 years ago, you know, because of the pandemic, things change, you know. I mean, nobody is expert in this business world right now. Everybody is trying to learn. You know, it's all learning. So